Hey guys, welcome back to yet another video. Today I'm out here on the Tracker Grizzly 1548T Sportsman, and we're going to see how it runs as well as what it's like to use for an entire day. The first thing about this boat is that it is very stable. A general rule is the wider the beam on John boats and utility boats, usually the more stable it is. I used to run the 1542 Topper Tracker and it was quite stable, and this one is still very stable as that boat, but I don't think much more, simply because the 1540T Tracker with that flat bottom on the front had more surface area on the water. With this V-hull on this particular boat, you don't have as much surface area on the front, so it is going to roll a little bit, but definitely when you're in rivers and there's not a whole lot of boat traffic, canals, things of that nature, you're going to be just fine and safe fishing up here. Now, if you're in heavily boat trafficked area where there's a lot of wake, it could get a little dicey, but you can get a seat pedestal and everything else, and you'll be fine up here regardless. Like I said, the boat is very, very stable. You don't have to worry about flipping over. I have my feet hanging off the side, I'm leaning forward. Even with these waves, I'm not worried. There's flotation in the boat. It's not going to flip on me or anything like that. Now, if you have two people hanging off the side, yeah, that might be a little sketch. But if you're bringing a load in, or say you're fishing, you have your friend helping you out, y'all are somewhere a little bit more centered to the boat, you're going to be fine. There's no chance of this thing flipping over reasonably. Now, something to note, this boat does have a little bit of draft in the back, but that's to be expected. This 25 is probably one of the heaviest in its class, but they've been around for a long time. They're quite reliable. We also have the gas tank, the battery, and the person driving the boat sitting back here as well, so there's plenty of weight. Now, these steps are about 10 inches in height, and the first steps are submerged on each side, and the second step is about halfway to 3/4 underwater. So just keep that in mind. You can probably run this motor in 2.5 feet, fully trimmed down at lower speeds. If you get onto higher speed to get on plane, you probably run it in 2 feet of water at your own discretion, but trimming up is always the best option to make sure you don't damage your lower unit. Now, for those of us who plan on using this boat for both fishing and hunting, there is plenty of room when it comes to the rear deck. Step up, still have another foot or so. You can stand on this back corner. You're not going to go anywhere. You can walk across the back, the rear. Still have all this area. Easily transition from one side to the other. This entire open floor right here makes it very easy and simple to transition from the rear to the bow. And then you have this entire area under you as well. Again, plenty of area. You're not going to lose your footing. You can stand anywhere from back here all the way up here to the front. I'll have a trolling motor right here to begin with, but still plenty of area to fish off of. Now, granted, this is a brand new motor. It is also electric fuel injected, so it's on a new series compared to the older carbureted stuff. But with the EFI, the good thing is you don't have to worry about choke, you don't have to worry about a carburetor, you don't have to worry about removing all the gas from your carburetor at the end of the season or anything like that. You want to keep it primed, use non-ethanol fuel, and this thing should last a very long time. It also cranks up readily and quite easily. Half a second, it's ready to go. Now, in case your electric start doesn't work, you do have a pull start option right here. We'll give that a try. 2 tugs of the cord, started right up. Definitely a little bit of force taken for this 25 compared to the 25 or the 15 that I did have. And the final option is, if you do ever need it, there's another emergency pull cord that you can take the cowling off, and you could use an emergency pull cord to start the engine in case both your electric start fails and your rope fails in a very unlikely situation. Now, one of the biggest bonuses of having a semi-V utility or John boat versus a flat bottom is that at lower speeds, you have a lot more control of the vessel. That thing is going to turn when you want it to, it's going to turn left and right. It's not going to just kind of wander off pass. And the faster you go, the more control you have until about 3/4 throttle. Then you will have the same problem as John boats where you actually start skipping more so across the water than cutting in and turning. To give you an idea on turning and a little bit more speed, I'm going to do a little bit of a run here. We're just going to start cutting this way. Now, when it comes to a flat bottom John boat, it's not going to want to do that. It's just going to want to make its way around almost like a pontoon boat. So again, one of the great features about this thing, but it will skip at higher speeds. From a complete stop, I'm going to give it full throttle, and we're going to see what it takes in order to plane this thing out, get it up on speed, as well as how well it does once it's on plane. Now, like I said earlier, maneuverability is kind of lost in this aspect when it comes to tight turns, but when you're making broader turns, you're still able to do it at wide open throttle. From a dead stop to full throttle, this boat does pretty well. It takes about 12 or 13 seconds to get up on plane with how windy it is today, as well as all the boat traffic we have. That's certainly not helping, but I can't complain too much. Bow rise is quite minimal. It's not going to disrupt your view. When it comes to power, this thing has plenty of power once it gets up on plane, but you will have to use all of the engine's power to do so in these windier conditions. That being said, once you get up on plane, you need to make a turn at full throttle with this particular boat. Again, this hole kind of slides out because it has more of a flat bottom as you go farther back from the front. And at full throttle, it's just going to be really broad turns. If you try anything too sharp, it's just going to skip across. So the best thing to do if you do need to make a short turn, just slow down a small bit. It really does not take much. Slow down just a tiny bit, let the front end and the V-hull grip a little bit, and you'll be able to really make a sharp turn and basically come back a 180 on yourself very easily while still carrying above 20 miles an hour overall. It has been an excellent day on the water. This boat has been fantastic overall. There's quite a few positives, only one or two things that they could probably work on. Build quality seems fantastic. Rattling, everything is solid built. There's no issues there whatsoever. Now, I haven't jumped logs in it or anything, but again, no rattling or anything like that. That's usually a good sign, and it should be that way for a brand new boat, of course. Now, planing out, it's great. I do wish that this boat was rated to 30 horsepower rather than 25, because you have to max this engine out in order to get on plane, realistically. Even at 4/5 throttle, it's not wanting to get on plane, really. But once you do get on plane, it's good. It's just getting on plane to begin with, so something to keep in mind. Now, as far as turning and everything like that goes, when you're on plane, you're going fast, you start to turn, you're going to have to make broad turns, as I said earlier, just because, again, this isn't a tunnel hole boat where it comes up like this and it flattens out. You actually have a flat bottom on this boat, and essentially the flat bottom's just allow you to skip. If you have that tunnel hole, it kind of catches that wave on the inside and pull you in almost. It's a weird feeling, but it does work very well. Other than that, the boat's been excellent. I love it to death. The three gripes I would say I have is the rail plaza system on this side or the track system. You can't really use it because the light is in the way, so that's kind of an issue. And I'm really stuck to only use this right side. I can't take the light off, but the mounts holding the stern light in place is actually kind of irritating, and you have to take it off, put it back on, just to get between those two areas right there. Now, the other two issues is on this side, there's actually the horn, and every time I turn in my seat, I either hit one of these dials right here, or hit the horn without meaning to, and that's a little bit of an issue. And on the other side, I have a light, and it's a courtesy light inside, but every time I twist my seat the other way, I seem to bump into it, turn it on, and if you do that, not knowing you turned it on, at the end of the day, you're going to have a dead battery next time you go out. So those are two things to keep in mind. Well guys, I do hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please make sure to share, like, subscribe for more, and thanks for watching.